Hi guys, I don't even know if this is working. Hold on. Okay, I think it's working. So after yesterday's lesson, I realized that a lot of you knew what loaded words were in terms of being able to define them, but you can't actually apply the knowledge and find loaded words in articles. So I thought I'd do a quick recap, and that way you can go back and watch this when you need to in preparation for the exam. Okay. So what are loaded words? So loaded words are words that have strong emotional associations and can bring out a strong positive or negative emotion or reaction in you. So quite simply, they're words that have an emotional association. So they make you feel something, whether it's positive or negative. So a loaded word can have a positive association to it that brings out positive reactions or emotions in you. So, for example, when you say someone is honest, you're associating that person with a good quality, and therefore, when you say to someone, oh, that person is an honest person, the person you're saying that to has a positive image of that person. Or you can also use loaded words in a negative way to bring up negative emotions or reactions in someone or in yourself. So, for example, like we spoke about in class, you can call someone a snake, and therefore you're associating that person with evil. So, if you were to tell me that someone was a snake, I wouldn't think anything positive about them. I would think negative things about them. So, you would create a negative emotion in me. Hope that makes sense. So, some examples. So, you can use positive words, positive loaded words, or negative loaded words. So, for example, when you say someone has a plan, you automatically think of something positive. You think that someone's organized. But if you say that someone's got a scheme, you are creating a negative emotion because the word scheme is usually associated with someone hatching a plan that is going to hurt someone. When you say prosperous, that has a positive association to it. So you think of someone that's wealthy and someone that has nice things. When you say the word loaded, sometimes that can have a negative association because you might think of certain celebrities or you might think of someone that didn't get their money the right way. If you say that you're going to do something in a leisurely pace or you're going to have a leisurely holiday, you have a positive emotion because you assume someone's relaxing, someone's taking their time to do something, but it will eventually get done. If you say someone's going to have a lazy holiday or they are lazy, it has a negative association to it. You automatically think of someone that's sitting on the couch, probably eating Maccas, not doing anything. Another word, honest. So just like the one I said before, if you say someone is honest, you're using a positive loaded word. You think good things of that person. But if you say that someone's blunt, which is sort of another way of saying someone's honest, but you're making it sound as though that person just says what they're thinking without really caring about how it might affect the other person. So that's a negative loaded word. If you say someone's assertive, that's a positive loaded word because you're giving the idea that someone can stand their ground without being violent. But if you say they're aggressive, you automatically create a negative emotion or reaction in that person by associating it with violence. I don't know if you can see that with Kim Kardashian, but okay, so when you talk about Kim Kardashian, you can use certain words that can become positively loaded or negatively loaded. So when you describe her, and if you were to create a positive emotion or reaction from the people you were describing her to, you would use certain words like hourglass curves. There you go. You'd say she's fit. You'd say she's very glamorous and stylish. All of those words have positive associations. So when you say that about someone, you think positive things, okay? Now, if you were to describe her in a way that you wanted people to have a negative reaction towards her, you'd use loaded words that are negative. So you'd use words like fake, plastic, attention seeker. You might even call her fat, but if you did, I'd say you're crazy. So these are all loaded words that create a negative reaction or emotion when you hear them. Okay, so I hope that made a little bit more sense as to what loaded words are and how you can use them. So as you can see, journalists use certain words to create a positive reaction from their reader or a negative reaction. So the newspaper article that we read today in class was meant to make you feel sorry for Louise, and it was meant to make you feel hatred and disgust towards the people that allegedly committed the crime. And the journalist tried to do this by using words like mercs and calling the rapes an epidemic and going into detail in regards to what was done to her. So all of that created a negative emotion in you towards the rapists and created a positive reaction towards the victim by making you feel sorry for her. Okay, so what you are going to do now is around the room there are newspaper articles stuck to the windows. You're going to use certain pens that I will give you and you will work in groups to annotate the article. So you have to read the article together as a group and answer these 3 questions. So what's the article about? Make a list of all the negative and positively loaded words you have found in that article to help you answer if there's bias in the article, and if there is bias, who is it biased towards? And also you need to find out what other kinds of bias there are, and you can do that by looking at the worksheet I gave you guys a few days ago, where we looked at bias by headlines, bias by photos, and so on. Okay, thank you. Oh, and also one more thing. Miss Nora and I will be doing another one of these together, and I think her dog might feature in it this time. So stay tuned for that.